Hey, it's Dan. So in this video I'm going to talk to you about why I enjoy arguing with strangers on the internet. So it's quite an interesting one actually, and it's not about like cats and Brexit and politicians and, you know, something where you've got one opinion versus another, because all opinions are wrong anyway, generally. Or all opinions are right. It's irrelevant. It's just an opinion. It's what, you know, one person's experiences and knowledge and all the rest of it thinks about a particular subject compared to another person's experiences and knowledge compared to what they know about the subject. So opinions are useless. What I do enjoy arguing about are facts. And so the reason why I'm on about this is that with a fact you can't say, well, that fact is wrong, because if it's right, it's right. So let me give you an example. So we just had someone who was saying, well, you can't get a 7% return, not in this climate. And whilst on one hand they might be somewhat correct, if you look at the FTSE 100 for the last 25 years, it's like 6.5% on average. If you look at the last Legal and General insurance company, their last yield was over 7%. And maybe 7% is a bit high. 6%, there's quite a lot of different stocks and shares out there. Yields on properties, we're getting more than 7% yields on our properties. So although we've got some mortgages on some of those units as well, so that's got to be taken off at the other end. But even then, you know, if you're getting a 10% return and your mortgage interest rate is 2%, that's 8% return, isn't it? It's still a better yield than most people get on many of our properties we're actually getting now, which is really good. And you can't argue with that, because that's a fact. So when this woman said, well, you know, it's all right, you can't get a 7% not in this climate, well, actually you're factually incorrect. And it took me 5 minutes to find 3 or 4 stocks that are pulling in 6.5 to 7.5%. So on average, 7%. This is what it's about. Averages over a period of time. Now, the other thing, of course, this is the important bit, is that let's say you're getting a 6% yield. Okay. When you reinvest the dividends from that, and you put that into buying more, it's not a 6% return. Depends how long you put it in for. It might be a 6% return, or it might be 6.1, or it might be 7, or it might be 8, or it might be 20. Because if you keep it in long enough, the dividends that you put in 30 years ago, they're now making money on the money that they made, which is now making more money. So the yields are even higher than the 6%. So if you take an average of 6% and compound that over the next 25 years and then divide it by 25, like somebody do that, take £100 a month, or let's just say £1,000 a year, times 6%, is now 1,060, and then next year's 1122, like 10, I can't do the maths because I'm not driving, but if you do the maths and then divide it by 25, and then that will give you the average yield, the average return over that period of time. It's more than 6% because you've got compound interest. And this is the problem, people just don't understand it. This is why I like arguing with people, because then you go, well actually look, this is this is that, this is that, and we go, oh, and now you just educated them. And by the way, they might not want to be educated. They might go, fuck you, know, and that's okay too, because that's up to them. You can lead them to the well, but you can't make them drink the water. But it reinforces for me as well. We go, well, how's that 7%? Okay, let's do the maths. And so I do the maths and I work it out for them. And then that reinforces that actually what I'm doing is correct. Because I've been challenged. Well, I think you're wrong. Great, let's look at that and let's find out, am I wrong or am I right? Who's right and who's wrong? I like to be challenged in such a way because I benefit massively from that as an educational point of view. The other person who just discounts it, they might not benefit from it at all. Many people don't benefit, and that's why 10 years from now we're still in the same problem. So for me, I get the absolute benefit. One, I reinforce what I'm doing, and two, if I am incorrect, I get challenged on why I'm incorrect, and they can show me the error of my ways. But it's very, very rare does that happen. Reverse parking is dreadful. So it's very rare that it happens where someone absolutely goes and proves me wrong, because I've been looking at this for the last 25 years. I've always been reading books on investing. And so I've been investing in property, and the one thing I do regret is not, you know, £300 a month, 35 years, 47, so 30 years ago, £300 a month on everything that I earned. You know, that should have been taken out of my bank account immediately, and then I spend whatever's left. It's so stupid when I look back, because 30 years of compound interest at £3,500 a year over 30 years is significant. Do you know what I mean? That 100 grand would be 150, 200, 250. You can go find a compound calculator and work it out on the phone. But anyway, we're at the house, at the villa, so I hope that's useful for you. Just a few thoughts about why I like proving people wrong or having arguments on the internet anyway. Alright, we'll catch up with you in the next video. Take care.